So God, even in his powerfulness, is gracious enough to go, I'm going to give you words that you can understand straight away to draw you in.
And that's his purpose, because he said, I want to reveal myself to you.
Yes.
The aim is not to make you theological experts.
No.
My names are my titles and my attributes, that you might know me.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why we'll use words.
Yeah. Okay, well, welcome back everybody to another episode of the All Nation Church podcast. We are still in season 6. I'm joined once again by Emma.
Hello.
Hello, Emma. How you doing?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, doing well. Your brain's suitably fried.
Do you know what? I feel like my brain has so opened and kind of tangled up that, like, whatever, from here on in, let's just go.
Yeah,
we're just going with it now.
Along for the ride.
We've jumped in the water, we're just swimming.
Yeah, I was impressed that you guys handled talking about the Trinity quite well. Do you know? So smiling.
It's going to be really interesting, the difference between the people listening and thinking, oh, she understood that, to the people watching and being like, her face is saying no.
From my experience, sometimes when in doubt on the podcast, just be the person who doesn't know anything.
That's my role.
Yeah, and you just ask the question.
Ask the question.
Hopefully there are other people that need to have this question asked too.
I thought that's my role.
No. Oh, wow, no.
Well, it is, Roger, it's great to have you back as well.
Thank you.
It's always a joy to have you on the podcast. And yeah, we're very pleased because you have written a book about God. So
yes,
it's really helping us unpack this. And of course, we've called this season Discovering God, which is also what the book is called.
That's right.
So you guys have already tackled the Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this episode, we are going to get on to the names of God.
Okay.
The names of God, because anybody who's read some of the Bible will realize that actually God does have multiple names.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he does.
Throughout the Old Testament, throughout the New Testament, in different languages. And I mean, we were just talking just before we hit record, but in the Western world, we don't necessarily put the same weight on names as perhaps in biblical times, but even in other cultures right
That's
now.
right.
Names tend to be identifiers, but we don't always, and yes, we perhaps understand their meaning, but perhaps it doesn't really go that deep for us, does it? Often people will I've named my child because I like that name.
Yeah.
And we don't assign more significance than that to it, perhaps.
Yeah, that's right. Especially in the Bible itself, names often, the names of people and the names of places signify something. So you will find, for instance, Abram means exalted father.
Yeah.
But when God changes his name to Abraham, that means the father of many nations, which describes what he would become. Moses, the word Moses means to draw out.
Yeah.
So that signifies, first of all, when he was drawn out of the river, but also tells us what he would do. He would draw the people.
Yeah.
Then you have someone like Ruth, wonderful, wonderful lady. The word Ruth means friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course, the whole book of Ruth is all about friendship and covenant, how she became the friend to Naomi. So you'll find all the time, of course, classic ones like Joshua, which is Yeshua, is the Hebrew term that Jesus would be called. Jesus was Yeshua.
Yeah.
Jesus is the English version, but his name was Yeshua.
Yeah.
And so you find oftentimes and places have significance. So it's a handy thing, just off the subject, if you're reading and you find the name of a person, not exclusively, but the name of a person or the name of a place, they're significant. They mean something, and they'll give you a clue to that person, what they were, what their life was like, or the importance of the place.
Yeah.
Why was it called that?
Yeah.
Like Beersheba, the well of oaths. So it's very important.
Yeah. And people's names in the Bible they're not just there to differentiate between one person and another.
No, they're not.
So you don't get confused. They, like you said, they tell us who that person is.
Yes.
They tell us their story.
Where they came from.
Their identity.
Yeah.
Often, like you've already described, they also almost prophesy over them as
Yes,
to
they do.
who they're going to become or what they're going to do as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It describes who that person will become.
Yeah.
And that's why oftentimes you'll find they named their daughters or their sons according to what they believed they would be.
Yeah.
And so when we come into God, it's not surprising then that God uses names and titles to describe himself.
Yeah.
And so the names we're going to look at and the titles, because some of them are titles, some of them are names,
Yeah.
they're not names that people thought up.
Right. Okay.
It's not like an invented name that someone says, let's call our child so-and-so, so-and-so. And you think, what does that mean? Oh, we just made it up.
Made it up. Yeah.
So they're not made up names. They're names and titles that God himself has revealed of himself, because God it's all about revelation. God reveals himself. And he says, in this name, in this title, I'm telling you an aspect of who I am.
Right.
Yeah.
So no one name or title will tell you everything. Some will tell you more, but they're all significant, and all together they provide a framework.
Yeah.
And then when we look at what the attributes, we'll find the attributes often branch out and explain these names.
Yeah.
So
That's really helpful. So what you're saying is we didn't name God.
no, we didn't name him.
God names himself
Yes.
and reveals his name
Yes.
and his attributes to us.
Yes, he self-defines.
Yeah. Yeah. He's in the best sense, he's the only one that's allowed to.
Exactly.
He can do it.
That's the whole thing today. You define yourself.
Yeah.
That's not. No. God is the one who defines me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no one defines him.
Yes.
Because really, you can only be defined by someone who knows what the future is going to look like as well as the past. You can't.
Exactly.
I can't know
No.
what's going to happen in my future, so I can't label myself.
And the beauty is when God defines you.
Yeah, you
Calls
can hold on to it.
Calls you his child, calls you his son, calls you his saint, his holy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, well, that's who I am, because God said that's who I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it carries a certain gravitas to it, doesn't it?
It does.
God has said this about me.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the same as calling back to previous seasons when you were talking about like prophets and teachers and apostles. If God says this person is a teacher, then you go, that's who they are, because that's not something that they would like to be. It's not like, oh, we quite like listening to them teach because it gives me like a warm fuzzy feeling, or they tell really funny stories.
Yeah.
God has said this is who they are.
Yeah.
So that's how I now see them. I see them through those eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point, because it gives a credential to it. It's not them having to earn anything.
Yeah.
If God defines it,
Yes.
then it's founded on who he is.
Yeah.
And of course, this whole season is us discovering, not making it up, but discovering.
We're not defining.
Yeah, exactly. We are exploring and discovering God.
Yes.
And we're going to do it as best we can in 10 or so episodes.
Wow, that many.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys.
Oh, Roger, did no one give you a contract? Oh, sorry, you're not leaving.
What kind of world do I ever get a contract?
We'll get you a donut.
And you guys, you obviously, the last episode was about the Trinity.
Yes.
And it's important, like you said, we start with the Trinity for a number of reasons. And now we're going to start looking at the names of this God and discovering more and more, I think you guys said it, who he is, but in a way that we can understand him.
Yeah.
And I think James said, didn't he? One attribute at a time, one aspect at a time, one name at a time, because we are not all knowing.
And it's important that when we look at these names and titles, these are not the attributes of God the Father.
Yes.
They're the attributes of God.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Spirit. Yeah. But in my thinking, oftentimes, this is what God the Father's like.
Yeah.
This is what God is like.
Yeah. Yes.
But keep throwing it in. We're not talking about Jesus of Nazareth yet.
No.
We're talking about God the Son.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the bombshell.
Yes.
But Jesus of Nazareth is God the Son.
Yes.
In case someone wants to burn us.
I feel like, in like a series where there's like a big crescendo, it's coming.
It's coming.
They're building anticipation. That's what we're doing. Okay, let's get on then. So we're going to go through a list of these names.
Yes, okay.
And these titles. But before that, burning question that I've had in this episode is, why is it important? Why is it important that we know the names of God?
Yeah. It's not that we have to become, and they're mostly Hebrew names, because the Old Testament is full of them. The New Testament, not so much. He's more called different. Theos is the word there.
Yeah.
But it's because this is what God says he's like. And so when we see a name, now our English Bible, if we're in English, our English Bible doesn't always help us. So it'll use the phrase God, but there's a name behind that. But then it'll use a word like God Almighty or God Most High. They're important for us because God says, I want you to know this is what I'm like.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we just look at it and we say, well, what does it mean when God says he's God Most High? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Where does it come from? And what's the practical implication for my life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we say God is El Shaddai, what does that mean?
Yeah.
God Almighty, God Almighty. And so it helps me in my relationship. This is who my God is.
Yeah.
I'm not just trying to get theologically correct.
Yeah.
I want to think, that's what he's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I relate to him like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that old saying, isn't there? If someone tells you what they're like, believe them.
Yeah.
God's probably the only person you can actually hold to that. But,
Exactly.
yeah.
So when he tells me that's who he is, I think, that's what you really like then.
Yeah.
Now, it has to have a practical application for me in my life, in just the way I live
Yeah.
and how I relate to life. And that's the aim of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. And it goes back to a little bit of what you said, Emma, that when God reveals himself, it changes the way we see ourselves.
Yeah.
It changes the way we live and we act, doesn't it? If it reveals him, wow, God is this, God is El Shaddai. Mm-hmm. Well, that has an impact on how I actually live my day to day.
Yeah.
And part of why we're doing particularly this episode is so we can stop and reflect.
Yes.
And say, okay, so what does that mean to us? If he is this, what does that mean to us?
And an aspect of who God is, I will draw on an aspect at certain times of my life more than I'll draw on another aspect, as we'll see. So there have been times in my life I've needed to know that God is faithful, that God is in control. Other times that God really is holy and just.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're constantly onslaught with all of them.
No.
But you're living in the good of all of them. But sometimes it's thinking, it's that one right now.
Yeah.
It's my healer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we'll come on to that. There's some great passages in the Bible there that help us.
Yes.
Like Psalm 23 is a brilliant one for that, isn't it? Where you just think, oh yes, he's these things to me. I can just take one and realize that he can give me rest.
Yes.
We read that the other day in group, because before we brought our prayer request to God, I was like, I just want to read this so we can remind ourselves of who we're asking.
Yeah.
And we read it in the context of being like, this is who God is already saying that he is.
Yeah.
And so that when you then come to him and you're bringing your thanksgiving and you're bringing your requests, that you're like, oh, okay, I'm bringing my request to this person.
Yeah.
I'm not like bringing my request like I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm bringing my request to someone who already has said this is who they are.
Yes.
And it just changes how you approach the throne, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like we didn't call him God the provider. He called himself that.
That's right.
Therefore, I can confidently go to him and say, Lord, I need you to provide. Not because I made up a characteristic for him. He revealed that.
Yeah.
And I don't have to remind him of that.
No.
Yeah.
As you said, all of God does all that God does.
Yeah. So knowing that your provider is also the creator means he's not going to run out of provision because he's a creator.
Yes.
So just make some more.
Absolutely.
She's in El Shaddai already.
I'm sorry, I'm getting so ahead. That is not the first name. This is why I don't sit in that chair.
This is maybe why you should, though. Okay, let's get on with some of the names then. So, Roger, first one, nice and simple.
Yes.
Simple. We're going to go with L.
El.
So tell us about L.
El is the simplest name of God. The only thing in English, you can't tell when it's used this word and the next word, which is Elohim, which is the plural. Yeah. But El is the very simple word of God. It just means God or a God. And it's used of God and it's used of other gods, false gods.
Yeah.
It comes from a word meaning first or Lord.
Yeah.
And it speaks of someone who has strength and power and might. Yeah. And that's pretty much all it means. So it doesn't tell us how much or exclusively. It just tells us that God El who is El, has this strength and this power and might, and that he has prominence and preeminence.
Yeah.
So what happens then, and your English Bible won't tell you it's El. That's where you have to look it up on Bible Hub or Bible Gateway if you want to.
Oh, Bible Hub.
Yeah, it's great. They're great tools. So oftentimes you'll find that it's combined then with an adjective sometimes to describe what kind of El he is.
Right.
So you'll find here in Deuteronomy 4, for instance, it says, in verse 31, it says, Yahweh, which we'll come to that, your God, Elohim, is a merciful El.
Yeah.
So it tells us, El is also merciful.
Yeah.
So it's giving us an attribute, a quality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It also tells us sometimes he's a faithful El. Interesting when it says in Deuteronomy 5:9, I'm just looking here, it says he's a jealous El. Now that's interesting because you think, hang on a second, he's jealous El. I said, well, the Bible tells us that jealousy is a sin for us, but it's a quality of God. And you think, how can it be right that God is jealous and that it's wrong for me?
Yeah.
I used to ask that one in Bible school, the students. You remember that question?
Yeah.
I believe that it's because when I'm jealous for something that's not mine. Mm-hmm. But God is jealous because everything is his.
Yeah.
So he says, I want what's due to me, which is worship and service.
And this, I think, is where it, like, knowing who God says he is changes our Tuesdays and our Thursday nights, because knowing that our time was already his means that he can demand it all, because it's already his. And we, in the best sense of the word, we can't say, oh, I am going to give this of myself, because it's not our self. If we've said that we belong to God, it's like his self.
The earth is the Lord's.
Yeah.
I used to talk about the fact, I used to say I gave my life to Jesus when I was 13, and I said that for many years, and I suddenly realised I didn't give him. It was his already. I surrendered it to him. He already had a claim on it before he ever created me.
Yeah.
But he's gracious. He knew what I meant.
Yeah.
The thing with El as well, you'll find it many times. We talk about names. So oftentimes when you find someone has El in their name, like Elijah or Daniel or Samuel, it's telling you something of God in their name. Oh. Pretty much exclusively. So wherever you see El, you'll find, there's something of the name God in it.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I like that. You'll be looking at people's names now.
Yeah, it's how you do look at it.
Yeah.
But El is just a simple word
of
priority and power and strength.
And I wondered why God would use this word that could be, that people in other cultures would have used to talk about something they would have described as a god or whatever.
Yeah, they used it,
And the only conclusion I would come to, and maybe you can help me out with this, is that it would be a familiar term, like something for other cultures to go, oh, I sort of get what you're talking about. And by you saying that your God is a merciful God or a powerful God or whatever, that I can go, oh, I'm going to compare that to this stone.
Because the other gods weren't, you see.
Right.
Even though they're not real gods.
Yeah.
See, all tribes and cultures and nations had gods.
Yeah.
Some were village, some were national, some were local.
Yeah.
As you find in the scriptures. El, the God of the Bible, is the God of the universe.
Yeah.
But he said, well, your God is like that, like Baal or Ashtoreth or Molech. They were gods who were vicious. Like Molech, you would feed your children to him in the fire, in his mouth he had a fire, and you'd burn your children to them. Sad to see some of the kings of Israel did that.
Yeah.
God said, I do not want that.
No.
I am not like that.
No.
I am different.
So God, even in his powerfulness, is gracious enough to go, I'm going to give you words that you can understand straight away to draw you in.
And that's his purpose, because he said, I want to reveal myself to you.
Yes.
The aim is not to make you theological experts.
No.
My names are my titles and my attributes, that you might know me.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why we'll use words.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got El, which is almost a general term.
General term.
Gods. You've referenced as well then Elohim.
Elohim.
Plural of
yes,
El.
Elohim is the plural of El.
Yeah.
And it literally means gods.
Yeah.
So Im is the plural. So where you see cherubim, seraphim, that's seraphs and cherubs.
Yeah.
So it's Elohim is the plural. Now Elohim is used far, far more than El to describe God. It's, for instance, Genesis, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth.
Yeah.
And I think it's used like 25 times in the first 2 chapters. So Elohim is the plural of El, but I think we said in our session on the Trinity, it doesn't mean that there are 2 gods.
No.
It's talking about, theologians call it a plural of fullness or a plural of majesty.
Okay.
That he is all of God there is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that we did say, right in Genesis 1, it says, in the beginning Elohim created. Now Elohim is a plural word, but the verb form of created is a singular verb. If you think back to English in school. So it's the gods he created. So it's telling you that Elohim, in Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, is the creator and the possessor of heaven and earth. So he doesn't have just power and might. He has supreme power.
Yeah.
Supreme power. Supreme might. Because he is the God who created all things. So he's much more than El.
Yeah.
He has this power. It's also the first clue we get, as we said in our Trinity session, that he exists in a way that we don't. He's one being, but he speaks to himself. Let us, Elohim says. And so you find all the time, Elohim is telling you that this God is the creator, the owner, the possessor. He's the God of all power, all might, all strength.
Yeah.
So when you see God used in the Old Testament, it's far more Elohim than El. It's something, wow, this God, this is who he is. So in the Psalms, I praise you, God. God, you are my strength. Elohim, you are my...
Yeah.
See, for us, God is a very small word.
Yeah.
For Elohim, is what they would say, this is my God.
Yeah.
My God is the maker of heaven and earth.
Yeah.
Which is... Psalm, isn't it? You say, when I consider your heavens, the work of your hands.
Yeah.
You see, it's a much bigger word than God.
Yeah. And it's already, you talked about James mentioned in the episode on the Trinity, the importance of beginning with the Trinity. Well, the Bible already does that because Elohim, like you said, hints at the Trinity.
They would be thinking that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And from the very first sentence of the scriptures is already put that as a foundation that this is not multiple gods, but there is a plurality within this God.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking about, I don't know if you heard it, I think it was last year the late Pope Francis made a statement about all religions, all gods are a pathway to the God. I thought that's interesting because that's you can see why people would make that assumption.
And why that would be a really welcome thing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of people feel very comfortable.
All roads lead to Rome, they used to say. But that's the issue of the Old Testament, you see.
Yeah.
That's what the prophets are all up against all the time. There is only one God, so which God do you serve?
Yeah.
The gods of the nations are not gods. So the Old Testament never countenances that there are other gods by whom you can find the one God.
No.
That was the problem. They said there is only one God, and it's Yahweh. It's this God.
Yeah.
So the Bible never makes room for there are many gods, and you can find your way to the one God through other gods.
Yeah.
It's very convenient and it's a nice way of thinking, but it's not true.
It's not about in this culture.
Yes.
Because I think that I've definitely had conversations with people and they've said, but you need to take into account other people's cultures. I've said, but Jesus isn't linked to a culture.
No, and it's not to denigrate. You see, so when I say Allah, the God of Islam, does not exist, he does not. Now, I'm not being Islamophobic.
Yeah.
I'm speaking theologically.
Yeah.
Now, if I speak with a Muslim friend, as I have, they understand that because they say your God is not this is the true God.
Yeah.
Allah is the one true God and Muhammad is his prophet. I do not believe that.
Yeah.
But he does not believe that Jesus of Nazareth is God who made the world. So I say, well, one of us is right and one of us is wrong.
Yeah.
And he said,
Yeah.
yes, he is.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's not to go to war and kill and burn each other's
Yeah.
holy books. It's just to say it's an issue of truth. But that's the issue of the Old Testament.
Yeah.
So when we say Elohim is the creator of the universe, they are saying Baal, Molech, Ashtoreth, all the gods of the nations are not gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only one God.
Yeah.
And Elohim tells you this one God. So they weren't Western rationalists. They think, well, how can you have a singular verb with a... They understood these concepts.
Yeah.
Our problem is we think too Western.
Okay.
Yes.
That is really good. Should we move on?
Yes.
Well, perhaps, Roger, you could just, because you touched on it, maybe we could just jump into the New Testament briefly.
Yes.
And you could just explain to us, because, of course, the Old Testament and New Testament were written in different languages.
Yes.
You've referenced this, but the New Testament uses a word theos.
Theos.
Is that right?
Yeah. Hebrew is a very, very rich language, and Greek is. But so where Hebrew has a lot of names for God, Greek doesn't do that.
Right.
So the simple word for God in Greek is theos, which is where we get the word theology from.
Yeah.
Theology just means talking about God.
Which is so much simpler than when you say we're going to talk about theology.
Yes. So yes, it is God talk.
Yeah.
So it just means God. And so in the New Testament, you won't find this richness of terms. What you will find, though, you will find different terms that they have to use to explain certain things about God. So they will use Alpha and Omega, which are the first and last letters of the Greek alphabet, meaning God is all in all, first and last, the God who was and is to come, the beginning and the end. So Greek has to use words where Hebrew can use a language.
Yeah.
So in Greek thinking and Greek language, and we'll come across it, you find that they don't have the richness. But also, by the time of the New Testament, you don't need all these names because God has revealed himself fully as Father.
Yeah.
And the purpose of the New Testament is to reveal God the Son, Jesus of Nazareth, and the Spirit.
Yeah.
So you don't need all these names.
Yeah.
You have them in the Old, and then they're translated into the New when we look at attributes of God through grace and mercy and all power. So there's a word like God is all powerful. That's pantokrata, all powerful. Yeah. So it takes the phrase.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And of course, Jesus said, if you see me, you've seen the Father.
And that's the beauty. So the purpose of the New Testament is to say, the one God that you see in your Bible, which is their Bible, this is who he is.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's me.
Yeah. I am.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on. So you referenced that El is often combined with perhaps some other phrase or other words as well. So we're going to move on then to one that's El Elyon.
El Elyon.
Can you tell us a little bit about that name?
El Elyon means God Most High, or the Most High God. So you'll find it as God Most High, the Most High, or the Most High God.
Yeah.
So you'll see it in something like Psalm 97, which says, "For you, O Yahweh," we'll just say that name, are the Most High.
Yeah.
El Elyon, or over all the earth. You'll find quite oftentimes it's used that. Elyon means high.
Yeah.
Okay. Like physically.
Physically high.
Okay.
So it's used to measure.
Right.
Yeah. So when we talk about God being El Elyon, it tells us, like Psalm 83 tells us, you whose name is Yahweh, we'll come back to that, you alone are the Most High, Elyon, over all the earth. Mm-hmm. So by the very nature of the term, the Most High, there can only be one Most High.
Yeah.
What that tells us, and it's telling us something about God's status. God doesn't share his highness, his majesty, his splendor, his superiority, his supremacy with anything or anyone else. There is only one Most High. It's interesting when we worship him, we adopt appropriate bodily language, bodily posture. We lift our hands. We acknowledge he's higher. We kneel before him.
Yeah.
Our hearts, we bow before him.
Yeah.
We're telling him he's most high unconsciously. When I come to God and I tell him, we sing that beautiful song, which was written by Pete Sanchez, "For thou, O Lord, art high above all the earth. Thou art exalted far above all gods," which is the psalm.
Yeah.
I exalt thee. Don't you ever find when you sing that song, this is the essence of praise and worship?
Yeah.
Now, God doesn't say, well, that's very nice of you, but I'm there are others higher than me. No, he says, I say, Lord, you are the most supreme,
Yeah.
the highest. I bow before you. There is no one higher, no one more prominent, no one more important in my life, in this whole universe than you. You are the most high God. And God says, yes, I am. And that's why we find in Daniel when Nebuchadnezzar comes and he says, because Daniel warned him, and Nebuchadnezzar comes out and he says, look at this wonderful Babylon that I have built for my praise and my honor and my glory. And God strikes him, and he becomes insane for a period of time.
Yeah.
And the glorious thing about Nebuchadnezzar, we forget sometimes, is he comes to his senses eventually.
Yeah, he's restored.
He's restored, and he says this in Daniel chapter 4. He says, "I praised the Most High.
Yeah.
I honored and glorified Him who lives forever."
Yeah.
And he just praises the Most High. I believe he became a believer. Only someone who can say that.
Yeah, yeah.
He acknowledged, and that Nebuchadnezzar at the time was the, if you combine, say, today, I'm not going to get political, take the power of the President of the United States, combine that with the richest man in the world, combine it with the most powerful technological and government, on all where there are many years, you have a pale imitation of Nebuchadnezzar.
Right.
He had all the power. He could look at you, and that's why when Daniel comes and the three friends and face him.
Yeah. I mean, he was the ruler of
he was the ruler of the universe.
Yeah.
The world, as it was known. But he says, there's one greater than me.
Yeah.
And that's why the practical thing, why is El Elyon important? Because that was the issue of the rebellion of Satan.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So in Isaiah, Lucifer, who is not a negative God, Lucifer, who is Satan, the devil, was a created angel, probably an archangel. And it says in Isaiah 14, we're not told in the scriptures what happened or when it happened, but the scriptures give us clues and tell us something happened. In Isaiah 14, verse 12, it says, "You have fallen from heaven, morning star," that's Lucifer, son of the dawn. What a name to have.
I know.
"You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations, because you said in your heart," notice this, "I will ascend.
Yeah.
I will raise my throne above the stars," that's the angels. "I will sit enthroned." It's all about me. "I will ascend above the tops of clouds." And he says, "I will make myself the Most High." El Elyon.
Yeah.
So the issue of the rebellion, which led to the fall, was one of who is the Most High. I want that position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And God said, you can't have it.
Yeah.
So there's no Hollywood drama where, there's God's in his T-shirt fighting and getting dirty like Bruce Willis. Who's going to win?
Yeah.
There's no denouement. The moment Satan says that, he's out.
Yeah.
And it shows so clearly, doesn't it, the difference between when Jesus talks about going back to the Father and where he is going to sit versus where Lucifer says he wants to sit.
Yes.
And that when Jesus shows us so clearly the relationship and about order again. And
that's a beautiful thing you just said. Because if you think, he is God.
He is Most High.
Who humbles himself.
Yeah.
But now, and that's what Paul says in Philippians, because he humbled himself to death.
Yeah.
Didn't count equality with his Father.
Something to be grasped.
God has now raised him, and he seated him at his right hand.
And God has raised him.
God raised him and seated him. And the beautiful thing, Emma, is that in Christ, we are also seated with him.
Yeah.
but only as we allow him to be the Most High. So it has a very practical implication. Who is the boss of my life?
Yeah.
Yes.
The New Testament will say, Jesus, when it talks about Jesus is Lord, who is the Lord of my life? Who is the highest? It also is interesting because in the area of the source of my life, I'm not just talking about money, when Abram as he was then, came in Genesis 14 from defeating the kings and he had all this treasure, he meets a man called Melchizedek, who is a type or a shadow of Jesus.
Yeah.
He is Jesus, or the Son of God.
And what you call Christophany?
It's a Christophany, yes. It's a pre-incarnation appearance of Christ. You don't see them in the New Testament because he's incarnate now.
Yeah.
Right.
But you see the friend where he appears in the fire with Daniel.
Yeah.
He appears with the theophany as well, appearance of God with Abraham. You see them.
Yeah.
In Genesis 14, it says Melchizedek, the king of Salem, brought out bread and wine, and he was a priest. He was the priest of El Elyon, and he blessed Abram, saying, "Blessed be Abram by God Most High, El Elyon, the Creator and the Owner of heaven and earth, and blessed be El Elyon, who delivered your enemies into your hand." And notice, Abram gave him a tenth of everything.
Yeah.
It's not the first instance of the tithe, but Abram recognized that everything he was and everything he had was because he served El Elyon. And no one told him to do it. That's the thing with what he did. And the essence of the tithe is not what is in Moses. The essence of the tithe is everything I have, everything I am, is because I serve El Elyon. That's why I tithe.
Yes.
Because I serve Abraham's God.
It's an act of
I
worship.
serve the Creator. It's an act of worship. It's not like, pay my tithe.
Yeah.
I don't pay my...
It's not a tax.
No, it's not my tax.
Yeah.
I bring to my God, my El Elyon, as Abram did. You're the source of my whole life.
Yeah.
One expression of that is, I will bring to you tangibly what belongs to you.
Yeah.
And people say, well, why do you... I think I've been doing it for over 50 years. I'm not going to stop now.
No.
And it's not protection money. No, it's an acknowledgement that God is the source of everything I am.
Yeah.
And it is amazing how many things God teaches you just through that act, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the lessons that you don't have to have a teacher from the front tell you, just the act of bringing your tithe week on week.
Yeah.
God teaches you things and continues to.
He does. And that's the beauty. And it's it's not money, you see, it's the source of my life.
Yeah.
That's why Paul talks about, and Jesus talks about, you can't serve God and mammon. And Paul talks, the love of money is the root of all. It's not money. Yeah. And this is what Satan says. Satan says, I'll try to get you to worship me. I want to be your El Elyon. If I can get you to do it this way, I'll get you that way.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to get that.
And that's interesting because it's, if anything but God has our affection, our ultimate worship and praise, then it's
Exactly.
the enemy. It's Satan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
He is the only one.
There's everything.
There's not like, it could be him or something else.
Yes.
But as soon as it's something else, it's of the enemy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everything.
He deserves it alone.
And things that aren't bad in essence.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is why sometimes, like for myself, I know I have to sit back and instead of saying you're Lord of my life, start naming areas.
It.
You're Lord of my career choices. You're Lord of how I bring up my children.
Yeah.
You are Lord of my friendships. Because it's sometimes in the naming that I start going, hang on a minute. When I get to say this one, that feels a bit jarring. And I think there's something I need to go and look at again in this area.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes when we make things so sweeping,
It's
we
easy
can almost
then.
hide things under the carpet, can't we?
Yeah.
He's the God of the specifics.
Yeah.
And that's why El Elyon, it's like, he's not this God up here, and it's easy for me to sing the song and raise my hands, but then he says, okay, but what about your career choice?
Yeah.
Or what about...
What about that holiday?
Or what about that holiday? Or that salary increase?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or your home?
Yeah. Oh, you've got a bank holiday Monday.
Yes,
what are you using it for?
You can't have that. He says, well, I am most high.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am. The earth is mine. Everything you have.
Yeah.
I am the source of your life.
Yeah.
And it breaks down into the specifics. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why El Elyon is important.
Yes.
Because it teaches me, it shows me there's only one, the highest in my life. Plus, he's the source of my life. He's the source of my life.
And it's important then that we remember what you said, Emma, which is, yes, we're dealing with individual characteristics, but we have to remember them in light of all of his other names and characteristics, which he's good.
Yes.
So he's not a slave driver. We're like, we have no choice but to do what he says and it's going to be horrible. No, he is good to us as well.
Yeah, he's kind.
Yeah, exactly. So it's okay that he is... It's weird to say that. He's okay that he's God Most High.
Yeah.
Of course,
We're right about it.
We allow him to be that.
You don't care what you think.
But when you look at who he is, you think, wow, what a God Most High he is.
Yeah.
Let's move on to another one then, because
Yes.
we've started talking about it a little bit anyway, but the next one then is El Shaddai. So
El
tell us about
Shaddai.
El Shaddai.
It's a beautiful name. It used to be a very famous song by Amy Grant, wasn't it? El Shaddai.
Yes, yeah.
And Christians used to sing it a lot. El Shaddai first comes in Genesis 17 when, in the story of Abram, we get a lot in Abram. He's still Abraham. He's still Abram now. And it says, when Abram was 99 years old, Yahweh, who I think we'll come to that next, appeared to him and said, I am El Shaddai. Walk before me and be blameless. So El Shaddai, it's El again, and Shaddai. Yeah. Now, Shaddai, the word is a very, very old word. And it occurs not a lot. It's only about 50 times, 50 times in the Old Testament, but it's used quite significantly. It can mean two things, and it means both things. First of all, it means he's the God of the mountains. It comes from a word meaning mountain or hill.
Yeah.
Of course, in scriptures, mountains are very, very prominent.
Yeah.
Lots of things happen on mountains. But also, the mountain is the place of invincibility, and it's the place of encounter with God. So, mountains in the scriptures often speak of prominence, domination, glory, majesty, grandeur, or splendor. It's the place where you meet God. Mount Carmel, Mount Sinai, even the Mount of Olives, where Jesus it's no coincidence. So it's used with that sense that it's the place of where you meet God, and the God who is invincible.
Yeah.
Right.
He has all the power, the domination, the glory. You go up.
Yep.
The Psalms are often like that. You go up. You go up, and there you meet God.
Yeah.
You have encounter with God here.
Yeah.
He's the God of the mountains. He's the God of glory, the God of majesty. That's one of the reasons why mountains are in the creation.
Okay.
When you look at Everest, or you look at Kafili Mountain, we have...
Oh, yes.
When you're off for your burger.
That's right. When you're looking at the mountain, you look at the Alps, or you look in the Pyrenees or the Rockies. They are there. I know there's geology, but God has put them there to show, wow.
Yeah.
They are there. They're majestic. And they're not easy to get up.
No.
Yeah.
Because when you go there, it costs you.
Yeah.
And you could die on the mountain.
Yeah.
And Moses did. Moses died on Mount Nebo. So there's always this sense of going up to God. And he's the God of grandeur, the God of dominance, the God of invincibility. Yeah. And from the mountain, you can see everything.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty. You can see the distance.
Yeah. So
it's that sense of, he's this. The other image of El Shaddai is it's linked to the Hebrew word, or very old Akkadian word, meaning the female breast.
Right.
And so the image is one of succor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That just as the mother takes the baby to her breast and feeds it.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to Colleen, a lady in the church who's a midwife, and you'll know this from being a mum, that when the milk of the mother has all the nutrients that baby needs for life.
Yeah.
It has immunity from diseases. It has all the, I'm not a medical person, it has all the acids and everything that the baby needs for life. Now, that's not to knock ladies who don't do that.
Yeah.
But there's something in it. Also, the mother, she doesn't poison the child in the feed.
Yeah.
And Colleen taught me this. She said, because of the physical act of feeding, when the baby is feeding the mother, it has no other line of sight.
Yeah.
It's fixed on the mother.
Yeah.
But the point is that there's a source. This mother is giving, and the baby never questions. It doesn't come and say, "Is there milk today, Mum?" There's milk, and the mother has the resource within herself to give the milk. So the image of El Shaddai is that he's the God. We often say I think it was Kenneth Hagin may have said this, I got it from. He's the God who's more than enough.
Yeah.
He's the God who has all the resources within himself to meet all the needs of all his people all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
So suddenly you're entering another dimension of God. He's not just, he's the God who says, all that you need is in me.
And I've been thinking about this recently in terms of for all his people, he has all that we need.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if someone else is receiving plenty, that doesn't mean there's not enough for me.
Yeah.
It means, thank you, Jesus, that I can see how you are the God of more than enough, and you're showing it to me. If we're praying for health, and I'm needing healing myself, someone else receiving their healing just means, thank you, Jesus, that I can see that you are a God who has more than enough health for your people. So I can therefore know it for me.
Exactly.
Even more.
He's never too busy with Kier to pay attention to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've been like that. Well, Lord, you have other things on your mind that are far more important than me.
Right.
I've done that.
Yeah.
You have. He says, no, I'm your Father. I'm your God. I'm your feeder. I'm your supplier. And I never have to come to him and say, he says, I'm sorry, the shop's closed.
Yeah.
Can you come back tomorrow? He never does that. He's more than the, what's that, the bunny, the Duracell bunny. He just doesn't last longer.
Yeah.
He never runs out.
Yeah.
Now, he's not some kind of supply chain. He's not sugar daddy.
No.
But everything I need God to be, God is all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why it's my psalm, no one else is allowed to have it. Psalm 91 in verse 1 says, he who dwells in the shelter of El Elyon will rest in the shadow of El Shaddai.
Yeah.
Combines those beautiful two things.
Yeah.
That came home to me when I was, facing life, death in an ambulance with a heart attack. I needed it then.
Yeah.
That God has all the resource within himself all the time. He never has to run out and go and get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has it. So if you think all the prayers he has to answer every day, all the billions of people, he knows everything because he knows everything. He has all the resource within himself. He doesn't have to call anybody or anything else to meet all the needs of all his people.
Yeah.
All the time.
And that fact that he doesn't have to go to somewhere else helps us learn something about the wait. If God's not answering this at the moment, it's not because he can't yet. There's a reason, and we might not understand it.
And that takes you into his ways of working. Because it's not like you press the machine and it's not like Amazon delivery same day.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think, I've been waiting years for this, Lord.
Yeah.
But that's the psalmist as well. Are you listening to me, Lord?
Yeah.
And he says, you can talk to me like that. It's okay.
Yeah. And it comes back to you have another book, The Circle of Life. And we've done a series on that. It's on YouTube. But
quick plug there.
No plug there. But it comes back to faith, doesn't it? Say,
faith.
Do I believe that God is who he says he is? Do I believe that he is El Shaddai? Because if I believe that, I can rest in. I don't need to wait until I've got my answer to say, oh yeah, I can trust now. Because no, you don't trust if you've got it.
Yeah, that's right. We've had to. I mean, it came home to us. We haven't told the story now, but there was the time we had nothing except for James, who was 9 months old, and we had 3 pennies, I think a piece of bread and 1 egg.
Yeah.
And we read the scripture, Psalm 37, verse 25, which has come to mean so much to us ever since. I was young, now I'm old, but I've never seen the righteous forsaken and their children begging bread.
Yeah.
So he said, well, Lord, if you are this, our child cannot beg for bread. That same day, God met our need financially in a miraculous way.
Yeah.
And it was just one of that thing, but we had to believe him.
Yeah.
But this is not him in the Old Testament.
No.
This is who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an Old Testament Hebrew name, but this is who he is.
Yes. And this comes back to then the importance of why we're talking about his names.
Yes.
Because it means in a situation, and there might be people listening now who are thinking, do you know what? I'm in a bit of a pinch.
Yes.
So I can look to the God who is more than enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can look to, and I loved what you said in Psalm 91, how it combines those two.
Yes.
If God is,
He's both.
El Elyon is my safety, then him as El Shaddai, he is my resource. He is what I need. I'm not only am I protected by his grandeur, but I'm provided for by his more than enoughness.
Yeah, and if we know that he is the Most High, then his amount of provision that he has for us will always be more than the need, because he's above. He's the most, so therefore the provision must be more than the need.
He's the God who's more than enough. And that's why I know we said earlier the word God is a very small God, but when I use the word God, it encapsulates in 3 letters all these things and more.
Yeah.
But I still haven't worked them all out.
Yes.
Because it's a voyage of discovery.
Yeah.
I have far more yet to discover in all these things. We know him. It's like Paul says, I know him, but I want to know him.
Hi everybody, we hope you've enjoyed this episode on the names of God. You'll notice this is not wrapped up like we normally do in an episode, because this is actually the first of a little 2-parter, or a mini-series within the series, if you will, talking about the names of God, because it was such an in-depth discussion we had. I hope you've enjoyed episode 1. Tune in next week for the second part, where I will be back with Emma and Roger talking about more of the names and titles of God, and I promise you don't want to miss it. It's going to be really good. So tune in again next week, and while you're at it, why don't you share this episode with somebody else that you think would really benefit from it, and we'll see you next week.